Thanks again, Andrew and Ed, for the great sharing. So our next topic is about data collection. So theme is multi-source data collection and a DIT approach, a winning strategy. So data collection is a very important part of our industry, as I mentioned. And but like any other industry, it requires expertise and knowledge to fully optimize it and avoid unpleasant experience. So this presentation will tell you why a DIT approach can really make this difference. So we're very happy to have two speakers to share the stage. So Mr. Young Soka, who is the Business Development Director at the TGM Research. I think you also found their booth outside. So he helps clients with a data solutions for research that suits their budget and goals. So he has worked with famous data collection providers, including Kenta and a user room, among others, build panels and ask business and marketing questions to the right people. So he's always curious on the trends and the technology in this industry, and he is always happy to discuss new ideas, partnership, and how to use things happen. So at his free time, Mr. Yong is very serious at cooking. So no one can enter his kitchen even for a little bit of help. I should try that, Mr. Yong. And we also have Mr. Greg Lasky. So actually, Greg is the founder and managing director of TGM Research. So he's a native Polish, and he started his career 22 years ago in research international. So he has worked at most every position in operation in Europe, Asia, and the Middle East. So before moving his own path with the launch of TGM. And he is an explorer of the Asian customs and culture. He lived in 5 different countries, including 4 years in Vietnam. And I was also told by Mr. Greg that he today is only responsible to being handsome in the stage. So let's welcome Mr. Yon and Mr. Greg.
Hi everyone. It always seems impossible until it's done. I wanted to start today with this quote from Nelson Mandela, maybe because Greg comes from South Africa too. Because first of all, it's inspiring me, but also I truly believe that this applies to data collection and research today. As long as we have 3 things: expertise, commitment, and trust. We all have the same concern today. You know what it is? We all want to find answers to our business question. Respondents are the fuel of our industry, and we always have to trade off between speed of work, quality, price, and feasibility. Let's look at some figures first. 5.3 billion. Anyone in the room knows what it is? Okay, that's the number of adults on the planet today. 3.3 billion. That's the number of people connected on the internet via smartphone. 3 hours 15, that's the time spent per day average on smartphone. We are in a digital world. If you really want to find people, the real consumer, the best way is on smartphone. Naturally, 3.3 billion consumer respondents. So how to engage with them? Sorry. Let's look at the research ecosystem today. In the last year, we've seen the emergence of do-it-yourself platform and self-service panel, from survey design to reporting, and of course, data collection. the offer is very wide today. That can create confusion. Honestly, for me, it takes a lot of time and practice to understand what's the big differences for each of them and what's the best that can fit business needs. Let's talk about data collection. Remember, respondents are the few of our industry. No respondents, no answers, no insights. So what are the options? Well, there's still the traditional way using access panel, which most of them also can aggregate all the panel. But that is good for speed, targeting, and methodology that require high level of engagement or interaction, online diaries, survey with every contact, and many other things. However, it's not good for everything. Panel can have very limited feasibility for emerging countries, for example. Why? Simple. The panel costs a lot of money to build, to maintain, and to keep active. So for countries with not a lot of demand, panels are very small. There is also what we call the professional survey taker effect. So, of course, we all know what it is. Based on some of our research, we estimate that 40% of panel members are part of at least 3 other different panels. So what does that mean? Well, those people are really used to screeners and how to qualify in order to get their reports. In a way, they just tell us what we want to hear. That can be scary. This is why we always recommend to use all the sources of response, what we call non-panel sources. Dynamic sampling, programmatic, social networks. All those people are recruited and engaged for one single shot survey. They tend to be much more neutral because those people are not part from any panel for the most of them. And actually, also based on research, they don't really want to join for that. They only want to get immediate reward for one survey that is related to where they are being caught in, like gaming, social networks, or anything else. This is also the great and the best way to recruit people from emerging countries where there are no panel. So, do-it-yourself platform, to get back to it, they always have one common theme and one promise. Better, cheaper, and faster. Is that true? Well, it can be, but all comes to conversion. Being stuck in field because of feasibility issues or the price getting too high. I'm sure it happened to everyone in this room. Is it? Probably not, I don't know. Well, that's a very painful and unpleasant experience. It happened to me a lot. So yeah, that can be cheap sometimes. Very cheap, but you never really know what you can get. And all comes from bad conversion. A big gap between what we expected and what is really happening in field. There are many causes of bad conversion. Bad survey design, too long, too complex, too boring. Come on, respondents are human beings. So all this leads to respondents to drop the survey. And it's even worse on mobile. Incidents. Your incidence is lower than expected. Because of what? Wrong estimate, lack of data, unnecessary screening criteria. Sampling strategy. Too many quotas, interlocked quotas, quotas that are not reflective of your real audience. So there are many things that can cause bad conversion. And the result is the same at the end. You are stuck. Because with do-it-yourself platform, if your survey is not attracting or attracted anymore for a certain size just stops automatically. So what can you do in that case? Best case scenario, you increase your price, you remove your quota, and you can continue. Worst case scenario, you have to add extra sources, which means extra setup, extra time, extra cost, and more importantly, a high risk of having duplicates. If you use different platforms, how can you be sure that people coming from one platform or one source will not be able to participate in the survey when they come from another one? So this is why moving to a do-it-together approach can be the solution. The idea is really simple. The idea is to move the better way where everyone can focus on his own expertise in a team effort. After all, we really think that data collection is a science itself that should be handled by people who can really add value, bring new ideas, and know how to use different tools and a different channel of respondents to make it work. We talked about conversion, for example, but there are many small things from survey design to sampling strategy that can change everything. With a do-it-together approach, you always have a plan B, plan C, you are backed up. So let's dig in and see how it works. So as I said, with a do-it-together approach, the biggest advantage is to have one third party who can centralize everything. That gives you increased visibility, speed of fieldwork, better sampling strategy and plans to remove the one single source bias, and you have one unique quality control in place, a standard one. And you know what? There is also one more, a priceless one. That gives you peace of mind. Did some of you in the room already watch the movie, Meet the Parents? I can see some smiles in your face, probably. So that's a very funny movie. And all is about being in or out the circle of trust. I can see an image in Robert De Niro when it does that. This is exactly what happens when you use different sources of respondents. No matter where they come from, panel, non-panel, you have to be sure either they can be in or out the circle of trust. Hopefully we have the tool for that. Before the survey, technical check, we can check using digital fingerprinting, identify and block duplicates. We also have attention question. Let's say one question that can be asked in 2 different ways to check if the data is consistent. Logical question, and many more. During the survey, there are many metrics that can be also checked. The time spent average on survey, average time per question, if there is any speeding, straightlining, or cheating behavior. All of this combined allows us to allocate the trust score for each of the respondents. Then we can decide if they can be in or out our circle of trust. If it's out, we just simply remove the answer from the data set and we don't use those people. So you see, this can only be done if you have one unique, centralizing quality check in place. So let's look at some examples. And Greg will talk about an example in Poland, or South Africa.
Because I'm Polish, arrived from South Africa, and I wanted to be just stay and smile nicely, but decided, okay, I will do the 2 slides. So this is the example of project which we did last month for the client in Poland. Sorry. For the client in Poland. Did you hear me before? I'm talking always very loud, so probably. Okay, I'm Greg, I'm Polish. I arrived from South Africa, and I'm very happy I'm here. Okay, my plan was to stay there and enjoy how you are providing the conference presentation, but unfortunately I have to join and show you the example from my market. So we did the project for the client from Poland. We were looking for the customers of small local Polish bank. Very tiny audience, around 3 to 5% incidence rate. In the project we have around 10 because we could use our friends from Sint and Lucid and do some retargeting. But as you can see, we were not able to do it with using just one source of the traffic, simply because it was not possible to deliver within 3 days such small incidence rate sample. But when you are merging all those different sources into one stream of respondents, there's always risk that something can get wrong. The biggest problem, in my opinion, is the duplication of the respondents from different sources. Of course, we have different ways to avoid it. We can use cookie protection, very easy to break. We can use IP protection, but with mobile, you just restart the mobile and you have new IP. So the best way is to use all those two, combining with digital fingerprinting and a couple of other metrics which we are collecting about our respondents. Because 35% of the 29% of the respondents was blocked. They were blocked mostly because they finished the survey, but as you can see, only 30% of them was blocked via IP. The rest was blocked via other metrics. If we don't do it, then probably we could have around 30% of duplicate data in our results. With such small sample size, with such targeted audience, it is scary, right? This is why do it together approach, where we can build together. That's too many together. Okay, so I see that our time is off, so I will give voice to Johan for the final 2 slides.
Yeah, actually a bit more than doing together. Because we're in Asia, I just wanted to give this example about Myanmar. Myanmar, beautiful country. Does anyone from the room is from Myanmar? Ah, okay. So Myanmar, 50 million people, about 50% penetration for smartphone, and of course, there are no panel existing in there. So typical case of emerging country. Using dynamic sampling, for example, and using immediate rewards, mobile top-up, we're able to collect 1,000 complete respondents last month for a client. This is a typical example of a doing together approach in a way that was the first time we did that, and the client wanted to try that with us as partnership. So that was a kind of a bit risky in a way, but we did it together and we succeeded together. So that's the idea. So doing together what's next? Well, this is only the beginning. Data collection is evolving more and more, and we'll see also many more technology rising for research, from text analytics to spatial coding, chatbots, online qualitative, more and more, and integration with analytics coming from everywhere. So this supposes more and more collaboration, more and more expertise, where everyone can bring his own expertise in a team effort. So, long story short, we can see that sourcing of respondents is becoming more and more complex nowadays. So if there were 3 things I would really like you to think about today, that would be number 1. Ask yourself what's the most important for your work. Is that price, quality, speed, or simply peace of mind to work with someone who can deliver in centralized office. Number 2, focus on your real added value. Is that to generate insight for your brand or to handle fee work? Maybe to sell a few dollars, but probably not. But with all the risk involved, that can mess up everything. And finally, number 3, build a long-term relationship with a partner that you can trust, so you can try new things together and you can succeed for great stuff. So thank you very much. I hope you enjoyed. And come to visit us, our booth. We have a lovely, lovely gift, Vietnamese coffee, and many candies. Thank you.